Hello everybody. Since the last time I spoke to you here on the YouTube channel, the little bit of our Ustream program, Her Majesty, of course, has passed away. It was last week I was on my way to Weston-super-Mare to do a gig. When I heard the news that she was taken ill and everyone was rushing up there, when I got to the theatre, everyone didn't quite know what to do. And just before the sound check, we heard that Her Majesty had passed away. So I went and spoke to the manager and he said, "What do you suggest?" And I said, "Well, what is your policy of your company?" They said, "Well, let me get back to you." They came back and said, "We're going to do a minute silence and God Save the Queen and then you go on." I said, "Well, hang on a minute. We can't do a minute silence and the God Save the Queen and then filthy, dirty me comes on. Why don't you just let me go on and speak to everybody and say, you know, here's how the evening is going to work out." And I said, "In fact, let me go outside." And I walked around the street and people were queuing up to get tickets and things like that. So I said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to cancel the show or do you want to carry on?" And they all of them said, let's carry on and do it. And there was a few tears. I walked on and explained what the evening was going to be about. And we carried on with the show. And it was fine. At the end, we all stood up and sang "God Save the King," and it was good. I'm on stage tonight at Tamworth at the Assembly Hall. I'm there for 2 nights. This part of a comedy festival, and I'm glad they haven't cancelled it because people need to have a break from their reverie. You know, it just can't be miserable all the time. It's heartbreaking. The world has changed, isn't it? It has changed. I feel sad, but I feel optimistic. I think King Charles will, take up the mantle, and we'll push on. Anyway, Tamworth tonight. If you want to come along, the numbers at the bottom here. Isaac, one of our guys, will put it on. Come along and have a laugh. We'll all be like a little family together at a funeral. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, there's a few people moaning, isn't there? There's a couple of people. I noticed 2 black women in America. Where one said, "I hope she dies an agonizing death." Well, that's not a very nice thing to say, is it? And all the people here in the United Kingdom, while this was going on, we all remembered and we all spared the thought for the thousands killed at 9/11, and there's no need for all this stuff to go on. There's no need for someone to say, "I hope she died a horrible death." Why? Why do you hope that? You call yourself a Christian or whatever you want to call yourself. You're no friend to Britain. You're certainly no friend of mine. There was a young lady in Australia. She was an Aboriginal. I don't know if you can say that. I believe they had to be called the Aborigines, is a bad word. It's now Indigenous Australian. And she was saying that Aboriginal people should not mourn the death of Queen Elizabeth. Why not? Another Aboriginal man on there, he was in tears about it. He said she's the first woman that treated us as, proper people. So it divides people, and they just get these nasty ones. They seem to be women for some reason, having a go. So this Aboriginal lady, she said, "We just needed an apology." Is that it? Okay, sorry. Is that good enough? Isn't the apology really delivered in the way that people react, the way people act, where people show that everyone is equal? Including you, madam, that's had a go at our Queen. We don't take too kindly to that in this country. Now, there's another thing as well. The police have been arresting people. There was people in Dundee throwing eggs. Can you imagine? At the convoy as it went past. What's all that about? Someone else shouted out, but at a thing, "You're not my king." And some little arsehole shouted out, "You dirty old man," and ended up being thumped. Now, should it be right that these people are arrested for this? I'm not sure. That is right for them to be arrested, unless, of course, it's to protect them from the man, the big jock that grabbed this heckler by the shoulder and threw him to the ground. Is it to protect that dreadful woman from the chip shop who opened, I don't know what she was doing. She was just pleased that Her Majesty was dead. And I believe her chip shop has been smashed up a bit, and she's now been banned from the Association of Chip Shop Friars. Good. Did you realise this would happen? So should you be arrested? Really? I don't know. Should you be arrested for your own safety? There's a lot of people. We're all free to protest. But you must remember, when you protest, there's always someone that's going to disagree with you. And a good way to be cured of NBPE is, I think, to stand on the side of the road when the late Her Majesty the Queen goes past on her final journey, is to insult her and everybody. Someone will cure you of NBPE. Rest in peace, Your Majesty. I'll now have a little chat to the Ustream members.